We both felt an incredible sense of relief that this nightmare was finally over. We couldn't have been more wrong. Welcome back, or if you're new here, welcome to Dark Secrets, where we tell real cryptid reports in an immersive story format. You just got a teaser of what I'm talking about at the beginning of this video. Today I've got a report coming out of Colorado that you're gonna love. If there's any truth at all to this story, the terror these guys must have felt had to have been just unreal. Let's get into it. It was 2007, deep in the Colorado mountains. My friend Bill and I were out on our yearly elk hunt. We had a primitive cabin up there tucked back in some trees far from any trails or roads. Night number one at the cabin was pretty typical. We got all our stuff unpacked and situated, ate a bite, then got hammered on whiskey. Day one was pretty typical too. We woke up with a massive hangover and vowed next year we wouldn't celebrate the first night with whiskey. This would be, I'd say, the 10th year in a row we said this now. By the afternoon, we were feeling a little better and decided to go to our pre-discussed locations and watch for elk until nightfall. We walked for about, I'd say a mile until we got to a clearing, which was our landmark to go our separate directions. We agreed to meet back at the clearing between 6:30 and 6:45 to finish our hike out together. After an uneventful afternoon, I arrived back at the clearing right at 6:30, and Bill was already there, hunched down and acting strange. I could see the relief in his eyes when he saw me. "What's wrong, Bill?" His voice was quiet and slightly shaking. Something has been following me, and I caught a short glimpse of it. It's huge. It must be 8 feet tall. Now immediately my mind went straight to black bear. He saw a black bear in the shadows that had stood up. But before I could even say it, Bill followed up with it, and it wasn't no damn black bear. Just then we both heard two loud knocks on a tree. We froze and tried to look in the direction of the noise, but saw nothing. I looked over at Bill. "Come on, Bill, let's get back to the cabin." We got maybe 200 yards and we heard a loud whoop. I don't know how else to describe it other than something making a whooping sound, followed by another 2 knocks. At this point, I was spooked. I've never heard anything like this, and I started freaking out myself. Even more because we have all heard the stories of BigFoot knocking on trees and making a whooping sound, and that's the only thing my mind could determine it was. We quickened our pace. We could hear branches snap every now and then behind us, making us jump and turn around with our flashlights, desperately trying to see what was stalking us. We got maybe 3/4 of the way to the cabin when Bill froze and stuck his arm out to stop me. I looked over at him. "What are you doing, Bill?" He slowly raised his hand and pointed. I trained my eye on the direction his finger was pointing, and my blood ran cold. Only partially covered by a tree was something standing on 2 legs and covered in fur. As my flashlight slowly hit the creature, I saw its face, like an ape and a human mixed together. It flinched a little when my light hit its eyes, and then I heard a loud bang. Bill had just shot his rifle in this thing's direction. The creature flinched, then let out what I can only describe as an angry growl as it disappeared into the woods at a mind-blowing speed. I looked at Bill. "I think you just pissed it off." Bill didn't respond. He just started sprinting towards the cabin. Once we made it to the cabin, slammed the door behind us, we both felt an incredible sense of relief that this nightmare was finally over. We couldn't have been more wrong. Hey guys, real quick before we get to some of the best parts of this story, if you're enjoying how we tell cryptid reports in an immersive story format, please drop a like, hit that subscribe button, and turn notifications on. We only upload 1 time a week, and a small channel like this, the videos get buried in your feed as soon as we upload. So that'll get you on top of seeing each week's episode. Now let's get back to that story. We thought the nightmare was over, but we couldn't have been more wrong. We sat in silence. Partly I think with shock, and Partly we were intently listening for anything outside. After some time of hearing nothing, I lit a lantern, and Bill looked at me and said, "What the hell was that?" I replied, "I think we both know what that was." We both just stared at each other. Neither of us wanted to say Bigfoot out loud. Then a loud, heavy thump against the cabin wall made us both jump and let out a little scream even. Whatever that was, it hit the wall so hard I felt the vibrations through the floor. We both grabbed our rifles and sat in complete fear. Then another loud thump that shook the floor. Bill put the lantern out so we could see out the windows a little better. Just as he did, I watched a dark figure pass by the window. Then, the front door was hit. There was two. This went on for at least an hour. And by this time we concluded there was at least 3 different creatures out there. We were shaking and weak from being filled with adrenaline for an hour straight. Then at the door again was 2 loud thumps. It almost looked like the door was gonna bust in. I saw Bill raise his rifle, and I quickly grabbed the barrel and pulled it down. "What are you thinking? We can't piss them off anymore. They could get in here easy if they wanted to." Bill lowered his gun. "We shoot if one comes in." I nodded in agreement. These things terrorized us the entire night, relentlessly. Right at dawn is when it finally all stopped. We waited about an hour before peeking outside. When we determined the coast was clear, we got the hell out of there. Bill and I never went back to our little cabin, and I really truly do miss it. But you couldn't get either one of us to ever stay there again if our life depended on it. So I think what we can learn from this is if you ever see a Bigfoot, don't shoot at it. Tell me what you guys think down in the comments. You think this story was real, fake? How terrifying would this have been if it was real? And as always, keep an open mind, and I'll see you in the next one.